Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the presentation of the Creative Computing program at the University of Leicester. My name is Marco Volpe, and I am one of the lecturers at the Creative Computing program. Today, together with me, there is Angela Hoshibodu. She's one of our second-year students, and at some point along the talk, I will leave the mic to her. So first of all, I will start by introducing a few things about the University of Leicester in general, and then we will focus more precisely on the Creative Computing program. I would like to start by saying that we got quite good figures and rankings for the University of Leicester, especially in the last few years, and this is some of the statistics that you can see. I'm not going to read all of them, but for example, you can see that we are ranked 26th in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for 2024. Something that I like to highlight here, to emphasize, is the fact that not only for teaching, but also for research, we performed quite well recently. So in particular, in the latest research excellence framework, we were within the 30 best universities in the UK. And I like to emphasize this because, especially in our program, which is quite a new program, quite an innovative and modern program, I think having lecturers and instructors that at the same time are also involved in research can really offer also to students something that is always every year up to date and incorporating the most recent and emerging technologies that are out there. What is also important to say is that not just the statistics about the teaching, that is about the process that we follow, how we rank in that sense, but also what the students' experience is seems to be quite good. So in particular, in this slide, you can see that we were ranked the 9th in the UK in these Unicompare University rankings. And in particular, with the National Student Survey, which is this survey that every year students are supposed to do, we were ranked last year in the top 30. I will get back to the NSS when we talk of creative computing, in particular, because we did especially well, I have to say, with creative computing. So I like to also let you know about that. And talking of how good we did last year, we call it the stellar year for the University of Leicester. And this is because we've been recognized as a gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework, which is the highest category that we could reach in our ranking. And for 2025, we've been nominated as the University of the Year by the Daily Mail. Okay, this was just to convince you that we are good as the University of Leicester in general. One thing that can also be interesting for prospective students is related to accommodation. And what we can say is that we can guarantee actually an accommodation to all first-year students as long as they register in time, so before September, let's say. And the prices are also quite good compared maybe to bigger cities. And by the way, if you're interested in knowing more about this, I know that you should have received the program, but I know there is also a talk at 6 p.m. About more details about the accommodation. Okay, time to dive into creative computing in particular here at Leicester. And one of the typical questions that we get asked in the open days is the following. So what is creative computing about? Because being still quite new, not everyone has a clear idea about that. And also, what is the difference with computer science? What is the difference with software engineering, which are the other two main programs offered by the Department of Computing here in Leicester? So let's say that computer science is maybe more about the traditional view over computing. So you will learn about the theory that is behind that, the mathematical aspects, also how computers are built and work internally. Software engineering and creative computing are more dedicated to the applications. In particular, creative computing is related to applications in what we call creative fields. So this could be arts, could be entertainment fields, but also marketing, for example, where you have there is a big need for creativity. And this, of course, reflects also in the kind of technologies that you will learn, because in this specific field, it will be important, for example, that you learn how to make an animation, or even how to make a game if you're interested in that type of application. You will learn some recent innovative technologies like virtual and augmented reality. This is one possible track, but we are also a lot into this AI revolution all of you have been probably hearing about. And let's say that our approach in the program is trying to embrace this generative AI, so ChatGPT, just to be clear. We have modules in which we actually teach how to use ChatGPT and how to incorporate ChatGPT or similar large language models within your project. So let's say the general approach, with of course some exceptions, is that we shouldn't defend ourselves from this technology, but we should rather be able to embrace them and embed them into our projects, into our applications. Some peculiarities of the program, I put in bold a few keywords here. So the first thing is that it is a relatively new program. So we started like 5-6 years ago, and we are growing a little every year, but we still have relatively small classes. So for example, this year, the first year, it has 30 students. And this, of course, also affects the way we teach, because if you have 30 students instead of 200, of course, the kind of experience that you can offer to the students is different. So we can have a more personalized approach, a more personalized relationship also with the students. We can give one-to-one feedback more easily during the classes. And this also reflects on the fact that we put a lot of emphasis on coursework. So we have some of our modules that are shared with computer science or software engineering or other departments within the university. And in that case, you might have traditional sit-in exams. But otherwise, for the modules that are specifically offered by creative computing, we don't have traditional exams. It's all about coursework. It's all about projects that you will develop during the semester. Another peculiarity I like to mention is that we try to offer a real-world experience to students. So this means that we have several modules in which we actually try to involve also some local institutions. For example, I don't know if any of you is from Leicester or from the area, but there is this National Space Center, which is a quite famous museum in the area. We have a collaboration with them. One of our PhD students is actually working there. And for example, every year we collaborate in designing some of the modules so that in the end we get really requirements from them. Our students are asked to work on a project that has these requirements coming from the external world. So in a sense, we try to replicate the dynamics that you will find once you go to the job market. We will have an actual external client, can be the National Space Center. In other cases, it's been some local companies that work on immersive storytelling, for example. But let's say we try to bring the connections that we have with other entities, can be cultural institutions, can be companies within our teaching. And then another keyword is teamwork. So in several of our modules, the work that you will be asked to do will not just be individual, but you will be also asked to collaborate and work in a group, because again, we believe that this is something that you will have to do once you go to work outside. So it's something that you need to be prepared for. In the next couple of slides, I want to give you an overview of the actual modules that you will find in the program. So starting from year 1, what you see in red in the slides is the modules that are actually offered by creative computing, so the specific modules of creative computing. The ones in black are modules that are shared typically with computer science or software engineering, but could be also with other departments within the university. In the first year, so you will have these shared modules, computing fundamentals, programming fundamentals, in which you will learn the basics of coding, the basics of computation, which is of course needed also for a creative computing student. And then there is a module on business and financial computing that also will let you learn about the more business-oriented sides of computing. Let's go to the red module, so our specific modules. You have Digital Arts Lab, followed by Games and Gamification, which are two modules in the path of entertainment, digital entertainment, I would say, because here you will first learn how to create 2D, 3D models, then you will learn how to animate these models, and in Games and Gamification you will also learn how to integrate some interaction into them, so that you actually get a game. And Angel, actually, in the last part of this talk, will also show one of the projects that she realized last year in Games and Gamification. Then we have creativity and computing, which is a bit more theoretical. Here we try to teach what are the relationships between computing, so machines, and creativity. Can a machine be creative? In which way? To which extent? So this is the kind of questions that we ask ourselves in the module. And ideation and design is rather a module in which we learn some techniques for creative thinking, so ideation, how to come up with creative ideas, because one can have the idea that creativity is something that is either you have it or you don't, but we don't believe that this is necessarily true. Of course, you can have your talent, but it's something that you need to practice, and even creativity is something that can be somehow, to some extent, taught, and to some extent, there are techniques that can stimulate your creativity, that can structure your creativity. And this is what we learn here in order to arrive to the point of being able to design original, innovative digital artifacts. So this module stops one moment before the actual implementation. It's more about getting up with ideas, designing the possible product. Then there will be other modules in which you learn how to actually implement. Each year there are also some optional modules that you can choose from. There are two listed here for the first year. And the idea is that these optional modules will allow the student to somehow personalize their path within the program, so that they can choose those modules that are closer to their interests, and they can try to make their experience as relevant as possible to what they want to become. In the second year, we have a concurrent design. This is the module that I was mentioning that is typically developed in collaboration with the National Space Center. And you have quite a lot of freedom here, in the sense that you will be rather supervised by us. But then there will be this guy from the National Space Center coming every couple of weeks and really acting as a client. So he will give you requirements, and then the next time you will ask, okay, which requirements have you implemented so far? Okay, this is good, this is not so good, can you improve this for the next time we meet? So really, like it will happen one day when you will be working for a company. Sci-Art and Big Data Analysis is mainly about data visualization. So you work with data sets, you learn how to make the best of visualization of data with the data set. And we have a component of Sci-Art also, because we believe that art can somehow help communicate the scientific messages that are within data. So this module is not only about learning data analysis, not only about learning how to visualize data, but it's also about how being able to communicate data in an effective way. I continue with the red ones. Entertainment technology is the follow-up of digital arts and games and gamification. So if you like these entertainment technology stuff, here you will learn also other technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, these things that you use the Oculus to watch. You will be able, after this model, to realize those kind of projects. And then there is developmental computing, in which you learn some basics of software engineering, so some more traditional computing that is still give you the right tools in order to develop your creativity. We have some core modules, which are databases and domain modeling and foundations of AI, in which we learn about databases and the standard techniques in artificial intelligence. There are some optional modules again. Plus, what you can do after the second year is instead of just starting year 3, you can decide to have either a year in industry or a year abroad. So these are two options in which either you go to work. It's an actual year in which you will get a salary. You will work for a company. Of course, the whole process is supervised by us, by the university, so we will make sure that the role is relevant for your studies, that you will learn something interesting. You will be visited also a couple of times along the year by some supervisors from the university, or you can decide to go and study abroad. So we have like cooperation with some universities out of the UK, overseas, and can be also an interesting experience. Of course, you will study something that is close to your program, but somehow modules that are not identical to what is already covered in the program, so that you can somehow enrich your background, and at the same time also have a useful experience in a different country, different culture. Year 3 is when we bring it all back home. So here, in particular, there is this entrepreneurial project that will last the whole year. And you can really choose what you want your project to be about. We call it an entrepreneurial project because at the same time, you will have to develop some software. And again, depending on your interest, can be a web application, can be an AI application, can be a game. But at the same time, you have also to think of the business side of it. That's why it is entrepreneurial, because we want you also to think how you could get money out of it. So really build a business model, a monetization model. Then we have computational creativity, which is about AI applied to creative fields. And for example, this is the model in which, as I was saying in the beginning, we teach you how to incorporate GPT within your projects. I will also show an example in a moment. And then we have emerging technologies, which is a model that changes itself every year. So every year we have 4 different topics chosen amongst the most emerging ones. So in the last few years, we have been talking of quantum computing, we have been talking, of course, of generative AI, AI art, metaverse, general artificial intelligence, 6G we will touch this year. So every year, really, we try to understand what is happening in the world outside, and we teach these very, very new technologies. Then there is computer society and professionalism, which is another shared model. And again, you can choose between 2 options. I hope this gave you an overview. Then, of course, if you go to our website, you will find more information, description for each of the modules, and feel free also to reach out. I will give you an email at the end, so that if you want to know more, you can get back to me or to us. This is the slide I promised about the NSS, specific for creative computing. So last year we got really awesome results from our 3rd year cohort, because the NSS is the survey that is conducted over the finalists, so the students doing their 3rd year. And we got incredible numbers, really, 97% in the theme of teaching and in the theme of academic support. Some of the questions we even got 100%, for example, this one about students thinking that the skills and the knowledge that they get, they will need it for their future, so they have the feeling that they're learning something actually useful for later. Let me show, before leaving it to Angel, a couple of applications that our students realized in the last couple of years. So this one is a game. I hope the volume is not too disturbing. I hope you can see it reasonably well. This was also done in collaboration with the National Space Center, and it is an adventure in which you have to explore the space. But you can see the kind of level that a 3rd year student can reach. So it really looks like a professional video game, I would say. And of course, you will learn these by starting from scratch. So from year one, you will start with simpler animation, simpler games, but then you can build on top of that. The tools that we have been using in the last few years are mainly Blender or Krita for animations and Unity for games. But I mean, we mainly try to teach the principles because, of course, the tools can also change along the years. Okay, I guess you got an idea of this kind of game. Another experience that we asked the students to realize, this was 2 years ago, I guess. And so we had these requirements given by the National Space Center about climate change. So the students were asked to realize some project that somehow was in the theme, in the scope of climate change. I can show you here one. So this is an immersive experience of augmented reality. Yeah, the student is quite excited here. But the nice thing is that they realized this project of augmented reality, and then it was actually, so you have these animals that you could try to catch with your feet, and it was actually showcased in the museum for some time. So this is also the added value of having this kind of collaboration with external entities. One more example, I want to show this one because it is again a game, but in this case, it is a game in which we ask the student to embed generative AI. So we are, this is the third year students, so they know already how to create a game. But we asked, okay, you know, you have these characters in the game. So in this sort of adventure, what you can do as a player is interact with the characters that you meet by typing. And you can imagine that each of these characters have been initialized as an agent in ChatGPT or some similar tool. So you can tell GPT, okay, you will interact like this specific character with this background. This is the information that you have. And of course, now what is happening here is that the player is actually chatting with the character, imagining that it is a dialogue, and the character will respond based on what they know. In this adventure, there is Dr. Winston who disappeared, so the player is trying to understand what happened by asking questions to the people. And I think this is a very nice example because it combines different technologies that the students have learned. So the one about game design and the one about generative AI. You have the link, there is the QR code in case you want to watch it further, so I will not spoil whether Dr. Winston is found or not in the end. I have some more examples, but I will just skip because I prefer that Angel can also show one of their projects. Let me just conclude by, summing up. So based on what I said, what kind of a job a creative computing student can expect to find after graduations? There are different paths, as I mentioned. So, of course, you can find more traditional jobs in computing, like you can still be a software engineer because, of course, you will learn the basics of that. You can be a developer, web developer if you want. Again, based on the optional modules that you choose, if you're interested in web development, you can take a couple of modules that go in that direction so that you can learn more. But we also offer the opportunity of learning more modern technology so that you can also aim at becoming innovative job profiles in the job market. For example, prompt engineer. You know, prompt engineer is the guy that is able to talk to large language models in an efficient way. And this is, of course, needed and relevant in many different fields nowadays. You can work with data, so you can be a data visualization engineer, can be a data scientist. If you're interested in the entertainment, digital entertainment path, you can become, of course, a game designer, VR, AR application developer. You can also, once you're able to do animations, there are many fields in the advertisement or in communication in general that can be relevant fields for you. In general, let's say it is still in computing, so you will learn the basics of computing. You will be a programmer in the end, at the end of the module. Plus, you will learn some further creative-oriented technologies. You will have also a creative mindset because we will teach you some creative thinking, creative problem-solving skills, so that if you like computing, but you are not too much into a traditional way to computing, I think creative computing can be the right choice for you. Now I would like to leave it to Angela so that she can introduce herself and present stuff. So I will stop sharing.
So hi, my name is Angel Oshibodu. I'm currently in my second year studying creative computing, and today I'll just share a little bit about my journey so far being a creative computing student and showcase a project that I worked on during my first year. So before I started university, I had absolutely no experience with coding, and the prospect of learning programming was quite thrilling and daunting at the same time. So choosing creative computing kind of felt like a bold leap of faith into the unknown for me, but it quickly proved to be the perfect choice. So my first year modules laid a very strong foundation for me, introducing the fundamentals of programming in an engaging and accessible way, considering I had no experience with coding. So the course has a blend of creativity and technical learning, which made even complex challenges approachable for me, empowering me to tackle them with confidence. And now in my second year, I've grown significantly, mastering multiple programming languages and taking on projects like interactive games and fully functioning websites. So I'm going to show a quick video from a project I did during my first year. I believe you can see my screen now. And I'll just talk through that. So studying creative computing, my first year, I was tasked to develop a 3-level game, and this project was a chance for me to apply what I'd learned about programming and game design, as well as also exploring storytelling and character engagement. The concept of my game was about a journey of a princess called Princess Vera, who was trying to save her prince, and she also had to battle a knight at the same time. So the goal of my game was not only to make it visually engaging, but interactive and challenging enough for players to be immersed in. So this game was a 3-level game. It had 2 2D levels and a 3D level. And the process of creating the game was quite tough for me, about managing my project from start to finish. Some of the challenges included balancing gameplay dynamics, as well as debugging issues and optimizing performance for a smoother experience. And I had a lot of trouble with this. So with a lot of persistence, it eventually did work. And despite these challenges, it was incredibly rewarding to see some of my ideas come to life. I was especially proud of the seamless transitions between my 2D level and my 3D level, which added a unique dynamic to my gameplay. I'll just replay that for you again. And what I did learn from this project was it was a real turning point in my studies. It taught me the importance of planning, iteration, and user feedback from trial and error with my game. Seeing how small game designs changed and could significantly impact the user experience was fascinating and solidified my interest in UX UI design, which is a field I really am keen to pursue in my future. And all in all, my experience as a creative computing student has been a journey of continuous learning and growth. And projects like this help me develop not only my technical skills, but also my creative confidence. And that's about it.
Thank you, Angela. I don't know if there are any questions, if there were any questions during the talk.
One of the questions are, what does a typical day look like for a creative computing student? So my timetable is quite varied. It looks different every semester and every year. And this year, I do believe I have a free day on Wednesdays. So my Mondays and Thursdays are quite packed, where I have quite a few lectures to attend. In terms of projects and work that we have to do, so I have a mixture of labs, lectures, seminars, and workshops for my course. So lectures entail for the more theory sides of the course. So you attend your lecture, you learn all the information, and you have follow-up seminars, which are smaller groups of people which break down what you've learned in the lectures. In terms of the workshops and labs, that's more practical. So in our labs and our workshops, we're doing a lot more coding to in the labs, it's learning how to use a specific code or a specific program, and the workshops are inputting that what you've learned to make something, perhaps like, for example, the game I just showed. Can I provide some advice on what to get involved with prior to applying to university? I would say for that, you should kind of be open to learning new skills, whether that's even hobby skills or practical skills that you will need for your course. I think both will be very engaging for the university and for yourself as well. To just learn new skills and apply yourself to different things. That is really nice.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add that, yeah, so I think it was also about prior to applying. So let's say that in principle, we try to start from scratch. Of course, if you have some background in programming can help, but for example, something that we are offering together with computer science now since last year is when you enroll, you will be given access to a learning environment that you can start to use, for example, in summer, in September, before actually the actual start. And this will give you the opportunity to learn some basic skills that can help you somehow in the program when it actually starts. But in general, I mean, we got students with very different backgrounds. So some of them have already experience with programming. As Angela said, she didn't have, for example, but maybe by struggling a bit in the first weeks, but she was able to catch up. Some have a more artistic background. So it's really, we try to be a bit an interdisciplinary program. So in this sense, really, we are open to students with a different background. More questions? How is creative computing different at university compared to school? Please, Angela.
I didn't actually study. It's not a course that they teach in A level, so I can't speak for that. And I also didn't do computer science, but I believe creative computing would computer science A level would be more of a foundation to this course. I believe that's how it would work, but I don't have any experience, so I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
Yeah, and I mean, compared to school, of course, the level will be a bit harder compared to school because we are at university here. But so as I said, we try to make sure that at least in the first semester of year one, we try to help students catch up. So by the way, every student will receive also a personal tutor that can somehow help also with any kind of issues they might have, especially in the beginning. And the fact that we have small classes really give also our students the opportunity to talk to us in a quite direct way. For most modules, there are both lectures style sessions and workshop sessions. And usually in the workshop sessions, there is always some time in which the students are supposed to work hands-on during the session. And these are supervised sessions. So it's also the opportunity for them to ask questions to the instructor, to get somehow personalized advice. So this is all stuff that can help get familiar with even with technologies that the students have not seen at school before getting to the university. There is one about what careers and what careers can I go into if I do creative computing. So I said this during the talk, but maybe by just summing up very briefly, you can go for traditional computing careers, so software engineer, developer, web developer, app developer. You can have more innovative profiles like prompt engineer, AI expert, or if you're interested in entertainment, you can be a game designer, you can be an expert in animation, you can work in virtual reality, immersive reality for museums, for institutions, for example. What support is there for students to find a placement for a year in industry? Okay, by the way, I also work as a placement tutor, so I can take this question. And the idea is that the whole process is somehow supervised. So if you're interested in a placement, what we recommend doing is enrolling in the program with a year in industry preferably before the start of the second year, because during the second year you will have some activities. You will be enrolled in a specific module in which you have some sessions that prepare you and help you even search for a job. That will help you make your CV shine. And in general, we will offer opportunities to students. There are some companies that we have a collaboration with, and they will come to campus to advertise their job opportunities. In the end, it is an actual job. So in the end, it will be the students' work to convince the provider to actually give them a placement. But we can offer a lot of support within the process. And for example, we have also a careers and employability service here at the university that is open from Monday to Friday. You can, as a student of the university, you can go there and they can also support you. They can point you to existing opportunities, and again, they can help you prepare for possible interviews, for example. So it's an overall supervised process. Then also during the placement, you will be supervised, typically twice. You get either an online or a physical visit from your placement supervisor. So we try to make sure that you can have a good experience, and that it is also somehow related to what you're studying, so that you actually learn something that is useful. I can tell you that typically students, of course, there are exceptions. It's like a job. So like any job, it can also go wrong. But I can say that we have many cases of students that after returning, of course, they come back for the final year to the university, hopefully. But after that, it happened several times that they were actually hired by the company in which they did a placement. Because, of course, if it works fine, it's also in the interest of the company to hire someone that already knows the job, that they know already the person can do well. So it's a recommended experience from my point of view. I think there are no more questions from the chat. So maybe we can just thank everyone for attending. And again, I put in the Q&A my email in case you have questions afterwards. Feel free to reach out. Thank you, Angel, for taking part in this. And thank you to all the staff who prepared this opportunity for us. Bye-bye.
Bye.